Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 4th of January. And, well, we ended up with a nice bounce off that ABM green right here, and we popped up a little bit. Now we can see that we're seeing steel rising on our DOC, which is short-term buyers along with mid-term buyers. That's lifting the boat here as we see that shorts have pretty much being forced out of it. And we talked about this being a potential for a nice little short cover rally, which is exactly what turned out to be the case. How sustainable is it? Well, we're going to need to see the shakeout start to rise significantly at this particular point. This spot right here looks pretty decent for it to continue that move. NASDAQ, same situation, a little bit stronger, I think, because you can see that the strong crossover of the short-term buyers. However, you've got to see midterm buyers in the green here start popping up and moving into a new zone. That will certainly create more of an impetus to get towards the highs and or exceed them. And we'll be seeing that here again, looking at the shakeout. We've got the rising momentum with the gold line as well as the blue right here. You can see the last time that those started up, we had that nice midterm rally that took place right here. So that's got to turn back up a little bit more time. And then we can see here from the Dow standpoint, a little bit behind. It's steel coming from deep down. That's like a really oversold as far as short-term buyers, so they're going to jump back into it in a pretty healthy way. We're going to see the shakeout start to pop back up after being slightly declining right here. Nothing too dramatic. Now the euro continuing to face difficulties. Every time they get down into these thresholds, central banks step in, try and prop it up, but they're just propping it up under lower and lower areas, and that's what we're starting to get more and more of on a steady basis here, is their inability to maintain the higher zones, and that's problematic for them because you're getting dangerously close to that parity, and once you reach that, there's a point at which the dam just becomes too overwhelming. So we'll continue to keep a sharp eye on that because that will have implications for the sustainability of a rally. You need a little bit of support there in order to prevent the S&P to be dragged down because of reduced earnings from Europe. Bonds right at the threshold. I mean, it just increased back over it. We've had a steady increase in the amount of support, even though hasn't reflected itself in price. We're still looking for the lower side of it, but at this particular point, a little bit of flock to safety. Oil, not really sustainable, as people realize when these inventory numbers come through, they just can't get around the fact that you have to have increased demand, and until that demand develops, it's going to take a little bit of time for it. So that it's holding up in that general range has been fairly decent, and that's a net positive, but there's definitely going to have to be some growth movement in order for it to be sustainable. Gold, likewise, we know that there have been accumulations going on, and it's going to start to break out as it's evident that stronger inflationary pressures are going to exist. So we had the nice pre-market rise that took place up over here, and then we started to get some short signals, and it was the secondary one that happened right here with the orange that really started to lead to a breakdown. And then we went into sort of an accumulation mode, and then once we started to see the shakeout, literally it was right about here when you were get your dip below and you finally get the yellow over the magenta. At the same time you're having rising brown. It's like all those got to work together at that particular point, because the early ones that took place, you didn't quite have the sustainability of it. Even though there wasn't much differentiation in price at that particular point, it was pretty much a sideways accumulation that led to the breakout. And all that breakout did was just return you back up towards the highs. The original breakout right here was right at that level, which is exactly where price is right now. You had this little pop right above it. That's going to be the next draw zone on a continuation move. So we'll see if that takes place. I will definitely be around for comments and or charts as charts warranted. I believe on Thursday I'll be heading to Milan for most of the day, but still making good progress on some of the programming. So I'm very excited about some of that. As always, though, trade well. We'll talk to you later.